All right. I guess we are live. I am still trying to figure out the whole thing of it telling me that I am live, but come on, you can't always trust OBS. But all right, enough of that. Here we are once again, obviously with crazy and casual. We are still trying to figure out which one of us is crazier. But once again, we are here to discuss gaming from a different perspective. And I mean, most podcasts, like, let's just face it, they all have the same structure of let's just bitch about Xbox, praise PlayStation, and for some reason try to drive the narrative that consoles need to be PCs. But nevertheless, we're here to have a little bit more fun. And of course, is my brother in arms, the person that survives the Phoenix summer heat with me, none other than my buddy Mickey. Say hi, Mickey.
What's up?
All right. Sounds like, for somebody that doesn't drink coffee, you definitely have a lot of pep for late at night.
The Dr. Pepper.
Oh, dude. I would love a soda. I'm not supposed to drink a lot of soda.
Me neither, but I do anyway.
Oh, I know. Dude, oh my gosh. I'm already doing things I shouldn't be, and that's for soda. My wife has me on this stuff called Poppy. Now, prebiotic soda. Fun times.
Oh, that sounds awful.
It's actually not that bad. It's actually not that bad. I've had some where you feel like you're like, dude, this tastes like cough syrup, but no, they're like the lemonade ones. They actually taste pretty damn good. But all right, so enough about that. Let's get into the conversation. So I'm pretty sure everybody here saw the title. We're going to get into it tonight because Xbox is definitely giving up on some people. Not everybody, but they're giving up on a select few. We're going to definitely throw some salt in those wounds later. But definitely there's the great conversations. Fallout fever is completely hitting the world. The television show has piqued everybody's interest in Fallout. There's been player spikes across both games, especially Fallout 76. And then we're also going to have a little bit of a discussion about Hellblade. This is going to be from a different perspective because guess what? We have played a little bit of the game. We have not exactly gone all the way to the beginning and rolled the credits, but we want to have our initial impressions and also kind of have a realistic conversation about Hellblade, because Hellblade has received a lot of praise in the past. Hellblade is by hands down going to receive some major praise for the fact that they are really going to drive the needle forward for realistic graphics, motion capture animation, and completely flipping the industry upside down with helping develop Unreal Engine 5 and the metahuman aspect of it, and being able to really craft some really amazing human-like rendering. Mickey here, again, does not go down into the deep of the rabbit hole like I do, where I sat and watched the entire stage presentation between Unreal Engine 5 with the actress from Hellblade showing off some really witchcraft technology. And also to really kind of hammer things out, we're going to talk about the Star Wars Outlaws drama. We're not going to and apparently this game is being graded on a curve. Don't know if it's just because of people just fed up with narratives in gaming or because it's Ubisoft. That's definitely open for discussion, but we'll definitely go into that. But let's start out with the fun one tonight. I'm pretty sure everybody here has either seen it, heard about it, talked about it, had someone tell them about it. If you are not, I don't even want to label you as not a gamer, but I'm just saying that you would have to be somebody that really is not very heavily into gaming to not know about Fallout. Now, Fallout 1 and 2 were PC games. A lot of people don't really know too much about them. I'm not going to say I've played them. I know what they look like. I'm aware of them. I'm aware of some of the tropes that they had with like the gameplay style and how they crafted what is used in Fallout today. But where Fallout really hit its stride was Fallout 3 and the whole game that took place in Washington, D.C. Since that day forward, Fallout has definitely been on high alert, at least for me. I don't know about you, Mickey. What do you think about Fallout? Have you been playing the Fallout games?
I've been playing, well, obviously we've been playing 76. I actually am going to get back into 3 and 4 because I played 3 before, but I didn't get like very far, but
Okay.
it was actually a pretty cool game, and I played 4 a little bit.
What about New Vegas?
And I have not played New Vegas yet.
See, I'm gonna say right now, New Vegas would be one of those that you really the nice part is about Fallout games is you don't need to exactly play each one of them in a row because it's not like they help continue on some story. Yes,
so
they
no
do
continuation.
Yeah, it's not a continuation. Well, so Fallout 3 is a story about you being a vault dweller that comes out in Washington, D.C.
I remember that one, yeah.
Fallout 4, obviously vault dweller in, I want to say like the Boston area, because there was a lot of hints and just like head nods towards American colonial culture, especially from that part of the world. So I want to say it's more like Boston and that part of the world.
Okay.
Fallout New Vegas, obviously from its name, I mean, come on now, we all know it's Las Vegas. If I am correct, you are a vault dweller. It feels like you're a vault dweller in all of them. It almost feels like you, at any rate, we'll just say that, are you? My God, it's been so long since I've played Fallout New Vegas that I feel like actually there's a part of me that thinks you like wake up in a grave. Yeah, you're a courier. They went from a different approach. You're a courier. That's right. That's where, like, dude, the nods to Frank Sinatra and just, dude, Fallout New Vegas was an absolutely awesome game. Each one of them is awesome in their own right, but now that's where Fallout 3, you get to be exposed to, obviously, the worshippers of Adam. And when I say Adam, I'm saying ATOM, the worshippers of Adam. They worship atom bombs. And like, that's the funny.
Actually, I think I remember an area I went into where they kind of had something in the middle of the camp.
Yeah, okay, it was the town. It was the town of Megaton, because they had a live atom bomb in the middle of the town that some people would like pray to, and then they'd get all butthurt if you diffused it. Or there's also a storyline where you can detonate it and wipe Megaton off the map.
Oh my God!
So
I need to get back into that one.
Yeah. Now with Fallout New Vegas, we obviously get exposed to the New California Republic. What's the other ones? The New California Republic and Caesar's Legion. That's one that actually did not make the television show. Was anybody from the Legion? We see hints of the New California Republic. We even see hints of the Enclave. The Enclave is essentially the remnants. So this is what's funny about Fallout. With Fallout, the Enclave is the remnants of the U.S. government. The Brotherhood of Steel is the remnants of the U.S. military.
Right, okay.
In other words, the military does not get along with the government, and they had a little bit of a separation. But if you get into it, the Enclave, especially in Fallout 3, when you find out like who the president is and everything, holy cow, this is absolutely insane. So definitely, that's where you get those two groups and why they don't get along. The New California Republic, obviously, it's kind of funny. Like, I love how the television show, or at least the Prime show, we'll call it, because it wasn't even on television, but I like how Amazon Prime's representation of Fallout really hit the nail on the head on when they said that everybody has their own opinion on how to save the world, but nobody can agree on it. And it's absolutely true. Like, you see all these different factions competing for survival, but also control over the wasteland. And then you have like these other interjecting individuals that are just trying to also get their own slice of the wasteland pie. And the television show captured that, especially with the setting of Fallout 4. Fallout 4 really kind of like really nailed it when it came to creating a Fallout game that was that really kind of stood out, like the base building, and just some of the fun stuff. Like, I mean, when you make that decision on which faction you're going to align yourself with, and when you decide to go to war against some of the bigger factions in the game, nothing was more satisfying when you spent the hours it took to rebuild a certain settlement referred to as the castle. And you put the time in fortifying it, putting defenses up, powering it. And when you find out that you're going to go to war, like, and depending on and the funny part is, depending on what avenue you decided to go with, you would actually fight 2 wars out of that thing. And it was a lot of fun, especially when you got to see all your hard work in building up the castle into being another fortress or stronghold like it once was. And you were really able to hold your own. And then when you finally take out like one of the bigger factions, you kind of felt a sense of accomplishment. But that's where the television show builds off of basically you essentially one of the factions winning out in Fallout 4. And they decided to go even deeper into their conquest of the wasteland, which now you see all the other factions taking place in that world, with the Brotherhood of Steel still spatting with the Enclave. But you have this ghoul that seems to be so heavily connected with just the history of how the wasteland begins, how the wasteland functions. He's really been through the ringer as a ghoul, and he is one of those ghouls that I've just really learned how to figure out how to hold on through all the BS and essentially avoiding the inevitable end for every ghoul, and that's for the radiation to basically consume your brain and you lose all humanity and you just become a snarling zombie that's just looking to eat the face off anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I could ramble all day long. What is your as for somebody like you, how do you feel about the television show? How far are you into it? Are you still only halfway through?
So I finished episode 8, which I think is the last one.
Yeah, no, there's only 8.
Okay, there was 8. Okay. So I liked it. For what I played, just from playing like 76 and the little bit I played on 3 and 4, you could tell it's linear, to the games. And, just seeing the things that you see, which is just some of the stuff that you normally see in the Fallout games, like the Nuka-Cola and stuff like that, is just so cool, that they put those little things in there. And the show is really cool. I've enjoyed it, and I'm excited, and I hope that they put out the next season, because
I've already heard rumors there's going to be a season 2. I've heard rumors that I've heard rumors that they've already signed the production contracts, basically, which are basically. With the popularity that it's gotten, it would be crazy for them not to, because it has. I mean, it's gotten rave reviews, like you said. People are enjoying it. The people that are Fallout folks, they're like, yeah, this is it's a good mashup to, like I said, with the games and stuff, and they've done a really good job with it. So yeah, it's freaking awesome, dude. They did an amazing job. So.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people nowadays, when you see like Avengers, the Marvel movies, and other movies that just use an asinine amount of CG, it kind of makes me wish we could go back to a time in Hollywood where there was more physical stuff to embrace in film. Nowadays, when most monsters are on screen in real life, the actors are essentially reacting to like a tennis ball on the end of a stick, and they're basically being told that they have to react to this, and through post-production and film editing, they'll eventually add the CG effects, and we'll all see the end product. But that's what made Fallout that's what made me happy about it, was seeing the actual suits of power armor being essentially crafted suits. They really had to figure out, how do we stick people in these suits? How do we make them all, like, look like they're functioning, and to where the person could still walk around or run screaming the F word multiple times. Dude, when you guys, like, I'm gonna say right now, when you guys find out who plays Knight Titus, you will be on the floor. So that was one of the, like, it was little quirks like that, where the little things that would pop up throughout the show, or just the off cuff humor that would take place. Where like, even like there was moments where they would say something and my wife would be walking by and be like, "What did they just say?" No, that's actually what they just said. No, you heard it right. But anyways, but I loved the production value of it, it felt like actual concrete walls, legit vault doors. Like, the stuff actually, like, the guy had to literally plug his Pip-Boy into the vault door controls to open the door. The door functioned exactly the way it does in the games. The guns look exactly the way they do in the games. I mean, if you're a Fallout fan, you can recognize these weapons. In my opinion, I haven't seen a production value like this in a movie like that. I mean, in a show like that, since the movie Underworld. And we're talking the original Underworld, where the director wanted to use CG effects as little as possible. That, like, the scene where you see her shoot out the floor in a circle and she falls through the floor, and you see the werewolves climbing down the hallway towards her. Those are actual actors on the walls. They actually did use computer enhancements to remove the track system that was on the wall, and also to spice up the look of the werewolves. But those were actual people on the walls crawling. They anchored them to the walls. They wanted the actual werewolves to be part of the filming of the movie. They didn't want it to just be like, hey, react to a tennis ball. Or when you see Lucian chasing the car, and to understand, he really was chasing that car, except what it was is they had the car pulling a piece of carpet behind it, and he was running on the carpet. So there was no way the car could actually outrun him. By having somebody running on a piece of carpet being dragged by the car, it gave the camera this effect that he was superhumanly chasing this car. Those are the little pieces of movie magic that I love. And I really feel that there was a lot of movie magic active in the Fallout show. And definitely, I cannot recommend this television show enough to anybody, because it was just a very well done show. And that's where, because of the show, we're seeing a ton of Fallout fever. What's up to everybody in the chat? Dark Child, Def Leopard. Dark Child, we're about to talk about that right now. Yeah, I want to watch it again already too. I know it's not often you find a show you're like, you know what, I'm gonna start that SOB over. So, and the actresses and actors in that show, they picked great ones. Oh, for real. They're great actresses. Oh, especially the ghoul. Awesome. The ghoul. Oh yeah, dude. Like his final line in the final episode really set an amazing tone for ending it. And you could not end that season on a better line. Let's just put it that way. I couldn't believe that. And it's actually a line that gets used in multiple Fallout games. And when you hear him,
wait till you see it.
I'm not going to say it, but when you find, but the funny part is for me is the big Easter egg, or like, you know, the big old goodie sandwich that they feed you at the very final 30 seconds of the show, when you see something that people like are like speculating about, and you're like, oh, and it's not speculation, it's really there. So, getting into it though, with all the Fallout show giving Fallout fever, let's just start with the big one, Fallout 76, because I see Darkchild already talking about it, and you really should try it. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, try Fallout 76 now. But going into this conversation, I bought the full big boy package with my fake faux bag and my power armor helmet when Fallout 76 originally came out, and they had essentially the Ultimate Edition that came with the helmet that went into a bag that caused a lot of controversy.
I remember that.
Yes, like the bag that they gave you was absolute trash compared to the bag that was advertised. And the sad part is the nice bag was only given to like content creators and certain people that got that edition as like a gift. The people who bought that edition did not get that bag, but eventually there was like a big old hoopla about it where it was like false advertising, and I think they got in trouble with the FTC about it, and you had to like sign up to get the real bag. I didn't sign up in time, so I never got my real bag. But even then, when I found out, like, it still wasn't like a 1-for-1 for what was advertised. It was more like a meet in the middle. I know here we all are all arguing about a bag that's in a video game, but I still thought it was a cool little like Ultimate Edition. You got some like toy sold, like, remember as a kid playing with little toy soldiers? Am I the only person here that play? Okay. And I ain't talking like I ain't talking G.I. Joe toy soldiers. I'm talking like the little plastic base bottom, that were like no bigger than like 2-3 inches tall, and you'd have like 50 million of them laid across the floor just for your parent to step on one and yell at you because it hurt.
I was going to say they were Legos before Legos.
Yes, they were Legos before. And the messed up part is some of them even had bayonets and swords, so they legitimately had sharp points. Oh my gosh. So the cool part is about the ones that came with the Ultimate Edition is they were Fallout. Like, you had the Super Mutants, some Brotherhoods of Steel. It was literally toy soldiers, but on a Fallout theme, which I thought was really cool. I left them in the package, but it's always fun to look at them in the package. You got a poster, you got the steel case. The big object was obviously the helmet. I have the helmet actually strapped to the wall right behind the curtain here. One of these days I'll have to like kind of like open the curtain so everybody to see what's going on, you know, in the Wizard of Oz back there. But that's where with Fallout 76, it was all great with like, you know, what they gave you in, you know, the box, but the game was an empty shell. Let's just be absolutely 100% on that. The game was an empty shell. Now there's a lot of people, like, there's two conversations on Fallout 76. The first conversation was that the developers were trying to go for this idea of it's Reclamation Day. It's the day we all go out and start trying to take back, you know, start taking back the world. And so there's like little to no people. Originally, you were supposed to experience the game through reading notes, books, holotapes, occasionally running into the hearsay robot everyone. And even then, the robots didn't even do very much. They would just sell you stuff or, you know, tell you to drink a Nuka-Cola. That was it. The only other people you'd run into would be other players playing the game. And that was supposed to be the only people you would interact with. And regretfully, it became like the Wild Wild West because there was people that just loved to screw with you because you were able to shoot at people at the time. And really,
we got chased down. And
you would be playing the game, minding your own business, and all of a sudden 4 a-holes that have played the game way heavily that have like Brotherhood
And
of Steel
freaking
power armor.
Yeah.
They just
Yep.
show up with all these weapons, and at this point now it turns into Friday the 13th running from Jason Voorhees. And so what's up, Yobi? So yeah, I missed the Fallout 4 Pip-Boy edition. That's actually one I wish I could go back in time and get to have that Pip-Boy sitting around. Because that was before I got into collecting Ultimate Editions of games. And that was one that I just really wish I could go back in time and get my hands on. But the only way to get one now would be to buy one used. And here's me holding out that hopefully maybe they'll release another Pip-Boy edition sometime.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly. Fallout 5 in a few years. But with 76, people were mad because the developer's trying to come out and say, well, this is the way it's supposed to be. And people are calling them, this is a farce. You guys rushed this game out. It was rushed out. But obviously Bethesda at the time was ran by a different hierarchy before Xbox bought them out. And 76 essentially was, it seemed like it was rushed out because not only was it devoid of NPCs and the actual flavor that created what Fallout was the raiders and the different factions. Mm-hmm. And the whole Reclamation Day thing doesn't even hold up, because if you even watch the television show, you'll find out that there was people that survived outside of the vaults, and they actually see vault dwellers as essentially, you know, the one percenters. You guys were all rich and able to be taken care of, where we had to survive for everything out here. So, right. You know, basically like even that chick said in like, you know, like how the chick said in the television show, fuck the vault dwellers. So that's how they felt. And that's why by even the television show standards, what Fallout 76 tried to create by saying it's like, oh, well, nobody's come out of the vaults yet. By the story of Fallout, people survive without being in the vaults. So where are they? And that's where now, if you go into Fallout 76 years after its launch, it's a total different package. You walk out of the vault, there's actually people, settlers, that are there to greet you. And it literally does feel like a Fallout experience. You go to the
They've done a great job on refreshing it.
Yes.
Definitely. They've done a great job.
And dude, me and you have been playing it now pretty heavy because
we played it. Right. Oh, yeah, right.
We played it heavily for when the game first came out. I got myself up to like a level 16. I know there's people that are like level 400s in that game. I'm not going to fake it. But the fact is, right now, I've already played the game. We've already put like, 15 hours in? And I'm only I'm only a level 8. So I'm only halfway where I was. So I want to say when I first got the game, I put like 30, 40 hours in before I was just like, man, this isn't the Fallout experience I was looking for. I'm out. And that's where I've been watching the game kind of grow and flourish. And so, yeah, we hopped back in the Fallout train right after the Fallout television show for Fallout. And that's where we got back into Fallout 76. And it's a total different world. We're having a lot of fun. There's stories there for everybody. You can play the game solo or with friends. They've even really changed up the community thing. Like you can actually send a group invite to the entire server. So if you're like wanting to group up, because I think there's like 25 people per server, and you can actually send out a group invite. They've also created what they essentially call the pacifist mode, where as long as pacifist is turned on, nobody can attack you. They can shoot at you all day long, and they're essentially shooting blanks. And you don't got to worry about getting screwed with now. People showing up, screwing with your encampments. And definitely, I wish the building... I understand that the building mechanic is supposed to be like a camp that you can move around now. I just really hate the fact that, dude, when you do the camp in the game, like I'm like using as an example, like if one of you guys in the chat builds your camp in a certain spot that you really like and you turn your game off and I show up and I have a camp in the exact same spot and you come back and turn on your game, you're going to get a message on the screen that says somebody already has a camp in your spot. If I'm still logged in, somebody already has a camp overlapping your camp. You now have the ability to move your camp for free, but you can't go back to your favorite spot. You got to move it. Every time I log in at this point, it's like, all right, where am I going to set my camp for my play this time? Because I think I've only been able to log in one time and have my camp still in the original spot that it was in when I logged off.
Phil has bad luck with putting his camps where,
dude,
we log on to another server and his place is blocked and it's like, mother freaker.
Dude, for real. It's like the minute you play Fallout, for me, it's like, all right, when we log in, before we group up, I'm going to need about like 10, 15 minutes to walk around and find a location that I'm cool with. Last night, I got pissed off at it and I just basically set the thing up in the middle of a road. I was like, boom, road's mine. For this little playthrough, the road's mine.
That's funny.
What's up, Adidas? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to everybody for checking it out. We've got like 15 people watching. I'm excited that even 15 of you are wanting to tune in.
Thank you, everybody.
Definitely appreciate you guys taking time out of your night to listen to us. Now, I can't recommend Fallout 76 enough, especially if you're looking for something a little bit more current with Fallout, if you're wanting that Fallout 5. But now this is the fun part for me, is I also re-downloaded Fallout 4. So April 25th, guys, we are going to get basically the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X enhancements for Fallout 4. They've been working on it for a long time. It's something I'm really looking forward to, and it's something that's going to make me play the game. And just to put it out there, I have over, according to the clock, I have 15, I want to say more like 20 days worth of time in Fallout 4. And when I say 20 days, that's 20 times 24.
He played the sheet out of that game. So.
Dude, I plan to, I wish I would have done it already, but I'm going to stream the towns that I created, like the main town that I created. Apparently, I had a lot of time on my hands that I don't have anymore. Apparently, my job was not as intrusive or as demanding as it is now. Because when you sit and walk around, you're like, I have 15 power armor suits all stored in a shed, and the whole town is like decked out. I even built a Walmart. I swear to God, there's a building that I put neon lights on the side and it says Walmart because I just wanted to be funny about it. So I'm excited about the next gen enhancements, and this is where we're going to definitely rub some salt in the wounds because somebody said this on social media and I really thought it was funny. Everybody's always digging on Xbox. Keep in mind, me and Mickey, we play everything, but we love Xbox. Why do we love Xbox? Because on other platforms, when they launch a television show, they launch a remaster and they charge you for that upgrade. But over on Xbox, after you're done watching the television show, later on that month, you're going to get the enhancement for that game free of charge. So, I mean, how can you not say that playing on Xbox does not have its perks in the fact that your purchases are respected for the most part, especially from first-party studio games, and you are going to receive the enhancement for Fallout 4 free of charge. Mm-hmm. And that's where I can't look forward enough until April 25th. And I guess the only thing I'm going to be able to do until then is watch the Fallout television show one more time.
Yeah, I'm going to do that too.
Right. And also play Fallout 76. Just also one thing about 76, guys. There is a part of the game where people can launch a nuclear weapon that will affect, I don't want to say a small, but a relatively good sized portion of the map. And if you by chance happen to be in that area when that nuke hits, you know, it sucks. But you do get a little bit of a warning like, hey, somebody turn the key and there's going to be a weapon heading this way. You might want to leave the area.
And I think it says you can look at the map and see the area that
that it's going to hit.
That the nuke's going to hit. So
yeah, and
at least you'll have that, you know, kind of a forewarning.
And from what it looks like, there's a strategic reason to do this, because apparently there's areas that have like world bosses or something like that, and they will launch the nuke to essentially get like an edge. Or I've even read certain cases where it will create even more tougher enemies that like, I guess that they're wanting to go after and farm. But it's definitely a very active world right now. I mean, we were running into people all night last night because it even though it was just me and him in a group, it felt like there was 3 or 4 of us at all times because we were constantly running into people.
Yeah.
So I guess let's bring out like the one that's probably going to get some stirred emotions. Hellblade. So we've got Hellblade 2 getting ready to drop here very soon. To be absolutely honest, Hellblade is one of those games that really speaks testament on what a small group of people can do when they're passionate about the product that they're wanting to deliver. I believe I've read that the actress who plays Senua, basically the chick in Hellblade, apparently she was like some kind of like editor or something like that, and she was just delivering the lines for they got a hold of an actress and they were having her help deliver the lines to get the actress familiar with the character, but apparently she did a much better job than the actress, and so they got rid of the actress and they went with her, and the rest is history. And you know, when the first game was done, they would have to do all the motion capture and send it off for rendering and development, which would sometimes, according to her, take like a month to see the final product. And if you didn't like the final product, it's not like, well, we, you know, like, can you adjust this and that? It was, crap, we got to do all that again and then send it off for another month for more rendering. Well, Hellblade 2 is going to be using Unreal Engine 5. It's going to be using something known as MetaHuman. MetaHuman is essentially a rendering technology that can be done in real time, and this is why it's witchcraft. They used an iPhone to capture the actress's image, and then they mapped her performance over, obviously, the animated version of her character in Hellblade, but they also transferred that performance onto different characters: male, female, child, adult. It was basically, we can map it over anybody we want. And it was all rendered and done live on stage from the moment it was recorded on an iPhone to just minutes later, where they were putting it on the laptop and showing it on the stage monitors, or in like wrestling terms, the Tritantron, the big screen behind them. And it was really cool to watch. If you guys haven't seen it, go and check it out. But this is where we're going to get into the conversation. Hellblade is obviously, Ninja Theory, the company that made Hellblade, is a talented group of developers. But I remember when Hellblade was a PlayStation exclusive. People were talking about it, but they weren't writing gospel, at least to my memory. And then Xbox obviously purchased Ninja Theory out of nowhere, and all of a sudden Hellblade becomes gospel. The PlayStation users were upset that it happened that way. Then we saw Hellblade appear on the Xbox console. I actually bought it shortly after it was put on the Xbox console, so I've owned it since Hellblade was purchased by Xbox. I'm not Game Passing it. Mickey is. I'm not, and that's not a bad thing. But that being said, I felt like Hellblade really picked up in popularity because of the console war shenanigans. And that's where I'm going to say it right now. And this is where it's a very interestingly designed game. I'm going to get Mickey's opinion here because keep in mind, Mickey's probably in it. I'm in it about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I think you're in it about what, hour and a half, 2 hours?
No, I'm only, I'd say maybe 45 minutes, to be honest with you. I don't even think I'm a full hour into it.
Okay, but you have your reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say right now, yes, it's cool hearing the whispers. I've played it with headphones on. Do I even want to know? Probably my neighbor. Yeah, that's my neighbor. Okay, sorry. Yeah. I have a Ring camera that lets me know when somebody's outside my home. So, anyways, the voices were cool. The game is interesting. The idea of like that head on her side that's breathing, that's technically not breathing, but in her mind it is. There is definitely a lot of psychological stuff going on there.
Mm-hmm.
The funny part is I've heard a lot of people talk trash about the combat. I think the combat's kind of fun. It's the in-between moments where sometimes you just feel like there was more going on. And I want to say at this point, I'm an hour and a half, 2 hours in, and I feel like I'm going to push myself to really play the game. But that's just because I want to find what everybody says that's there. And I'm not trying, I really do feel like I'm not talking trash about Hellblade. I just want to feel like Hellblade has been put up on this pedestal for console war reasons when honestly it's a very well put together game, but I don't see Hellblade being a console seller. I don't see Hellblade being basically being something that people are going to be talking about in mass. It's going to be the people that are really the connoisseurs of gaming art that really will find appreciation, because I mean, obviously the dialogue about the gods that are in that world, it's a lot of Norse mythology or Scandinavia. Yep. I forget. Yeah, like I actually find listening to the guy talk about it pretty interesting. Like I'm wanting to hear more about like his interpretation of the gods and like how the world was created versus like the story that's going on with her, because I feel like I'm learning more about the mythology than I am about what's going on with her narration. What do you think, Mickey? Like, what is your impressions, or essentially like, why is it that you've only put 45 minutes into Hellblade and you just think that at this point that might be it for you?
Well, so for starters, that game is beautiful. That game is beautiful. I loved the graphics. It was, I mean, they did a really good job. The graphics are sharp. It's a beautiful setting. The voices obviously are interesting. You know, I put my headset on so I could, you know, kind of hear and see what was going on, hear what was going on as far as the voices go. The Nordic stuff, like, you know, when you go up to those, you know, those hedges and you can listen to the guy talk about it, that is pretty cool. But to me, I haven't gotten into the combat and stuff, so, you know, I can't really fairly, you know, say anything. I'm not going to down it because there's people that love the game and that play it and that really enjoy it. But to me, it's just for me. I don't want to hear anybody going crazy and nuts and saying I'm down in it or anything. But it's to me, it's slow. And there's just some games where like you vibe with it. You know, you vibe with it and it becomes interesting, and you know, and then you start, you know, really getting into it. And in the amount of time I played, which again, it's not that much, but in the 45 minutes I played, I didn't really vibe with the game. So it's not really my style, my type of game, but I'm sure there's other people that love it, and I could see why. like I said, I mean, that game's beautiful. There's probably more, of the game, which I haven't gotten to because, again, I have only played 45 minutes. But usually within half hour to an hour of playing a game, I can vibe with it, and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to keep going. And it's just not a game that I really vibe with. It's just, to me, it's kind of slow, and I couldn't really get really into it, and maybe I'll try, check it out a little bit more, but as of right now, it's just not my style of game. So I'm not going to down it. Like I said, it's a beautiful game, and I'm sure there's other people out there that enjoy it, but it's just not my thing. That game is just not, I don't vibe with it. So
I'm just curious on how that game is going to be greeted critically, and I can't imagine Gears. No, for real, I can't imagine what Gears 6 is going to look like on Unreal Engine 5. See, that's the other thing. Like, this is a conversation for another show, but because of Unreal Engine 5 and just some instability in the gaming industry, I think we're going to get more games like Hellblade, where you're going to have these graphical showpieces where frame rate is not going to, like 60 frames a second is not going to be a target, because at the end of the day, eye-melting graphics really mostly appeal to the masses versus frame rates, and it's just a very harsh truth. And yeah, I mean, we're going to see some amazingly beautiful games made on Unreal Engine 5, but that's where I definitely do feel like there's going to be a one sacrifice, especially because of Unreal. I've noticed with Unreal Engine 5 games, they look great, but they don't have like frame rate. A lot of them do not really have high frame rates, at least right now. So yeah, definitely, Drew, Gears 5 is going to look good, but I just do feel that anything used on Unreal Engine 5 is always going to look good, but I just really do want people to have their expectations kind of in line with Unreal Engine 5 is really going to be more towards to make games look like graphical showpieces. And that's where I'm curious on which gaming engine is really going to be the standout for, shooters and games that are going to be aiming for that 60 frames a second target. And that's where obviously, Hellblade 2 is already getting a little scuff for the fact that at least the console version is going to only be 30 frames a second. There is going to be the ability to have some higher frame rates on PC. But the interesting part is, I think that's just because PC, you have a lot more control over what you can do with the game when it comes to its settings versus like on a console, they're more restrictive. There's the conversation on, could we see the game exclusive temporarily, or is by some chance this is going to be another one of the games that Xbox decides to make multiplat year, 2 years, 3 years after the game's launch? And also, how is this game going to be received critically? Because I know there's going to be the proponents that are going to be, absolutely amazed by the graphics, but I don't really see how. To me, it's more like what games are going to really drive the needle for the brand. And I feel like potentially Hellblade has been put on a higher pedestal just because it's an Xbox-owned studio. Like, have you felt like you've got that impression, Mickey? Because you've obviously heard people talk about it.
About Hellblade 2?
Hellblade in general, but yeah, Hellblade 2.
Oh. To be honest with you, I haven't fully put much attention to it, so I could not tell you. I couldn't give you a good answer. So I'm not 100% sure.
No problem. That's where, I mean, I don't know. I just really wonder. It feels like people are going to be talking about Hellblade, but could we? I guess time will only tell. I guess we'll find out if this game gets some awards at the Game Awards. Only time will tell. But I really do feel that at least the game I think the game at least is going to be the groundbreaking point, or is going to be the fact of the technology that we used in creating it. I don't know, man. Like we both said, we played Hellblade, and it just feels like it doesn't feel like a game that you're going to go out and just like all of a sudden no life it or stop playing what you're already playing for it.
Yes, that's correct. Right.
Because like,
I
dude,
agree with that.
we've been playing Suicide Squad heavily. I play Elder Scrolls all the damn time. Freaking Fallout television show comes out, and all of a sudden I'm on Fallout 76. Like the television show highlighted a game that that I really loved, and it made me want to play it again. For me, and also sounds like for you, it doesn't sound like it's something that's going to essentially make you want to stop playing what you're already playing for it.
Yeah, it's not going to pull on my gaming list at all, unfortunately. But that's it's just me.
I just realized the movie.
Or you too.
Right? God. You know what? Since we're talking about it, could I get in trouble for doing that? We'll find out. I just put on the Matrix demo. So the Matrix demo, everybody, was something that was crafted in Unreal Engine 5 to really show what is possible, what is capable with Unreal Engine 5. So definitely, I mean, it's amazing technology. I don't know if like Hellblade is going to be something that's just going to make me stop what I'm already currently playing. I think Hellblade 2, at least for me, is going to be something that I'll get around to, but I'm not going to like go completely out of my way to stop playing what I'm playing to play Hellblade 2.
Well, if you get Hellblade 2,
maybe I'm not as great of an expert. Huh? I
said whenever you get Hellblade 2, I'll probably just
it's in game.
Get your opinion on it and see if
all right. I gotta play Hellblade 1 before I can get into 2, but that's just because I'm one of those types that like if I don't know the story, it's gonna drive me nuts.
Well, and that's why I was saying I might put more time into it, but it's gonna be periodical. It's not just gonna be straight through because it's not one that holds my attention, and keeps me focused on it. It's gonna be one where I'm gonna have to kind of nitpick it a little bit here and there. So.
Well, speaking of nitpicking, I guess that's where we'll kind of like start getting into the other combo. The drama associated with Star Wars Outlaws. No, we're not talking about, the political shift that seems to like be affecting the gaming industry. The main thing that really seems to have a lot of people very upset currently with the game is the situation going on with the gold and ultimate editions of the game. I showed Mickey the stuff yesterday, so he's aware of it. It appears that Ubisoft has made a comment that Jabba the Hutt is going to be there for other characters. It's kind of like left open for interpretation, but at least from the initial stuff that came out over performance. Yeah, that's what I said. Like, and that's the other thing. Like, I'm going to say it right now. I'm a visual whore. I prefer resolution and visuals over frame rate. Don't get me wrong. I can see the difference between 60 frames a second very, very closely. But the funny part is I play a lot of older games on my Xbox 360. I go back and like right now I'm playing South Park, The Fractured But Whole. Like, come on, it's like a 2-dimensional drawn cartoon. For me, it is not the end of the world if a game does not have 60 frames a second.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you right now, if a game looks like eye-melting eye candy that is a graphical showcase, you have my attention. And that's why Hellblade 2 has been on my radar, is just because of the witchcraft involved in Unreal Engine 5. No, definitely. And that's why Drew, I want developers to feel like they can prioritize graphics over frame rate without literally the pitchforks and the torches coming out and all of a sudden everybody wanting to talk about like whether they're worthy developers or, you know, or people coming out making these demands that all of a sudden console games have to have PC sliders where we could start adjusting the settings of the game to somehow make it 60. It's like, dude, if you want PC features, go get a PC. Yeah. Get the F over it, man. And by the way, you know what's even more hilarious about that? Dude, most PC nowadays have an HDMI port. So if it means that much to you to have 60 frames a second, hook a PC up to your TV, freaking Bluetooth a damn controller to the PC, and boom, game console. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's where I'm just saying, like, regretfully, you are not going to buy a basically something on par with a $2,000 PC for $500. I feel like for $500, we're getting, like, dude, go try to buy an NVMe drive, like the hard drive in one of these things, like that, like for like like I've looked at one for my PC. They want like $150, $200 just for the NVMe hard drive. Let's not even talk about like my little slow podunk PC right here, that only has a 2700 in it. When that card, when it first came out, was like $800. So that's where I just have to laugh at the whole situation. Like, that's why I tell people, man, if you want PC and you want the flexibility of a PC, go get a PC. Like, no, I'm not going to look down on you. If you want to play on PC, dude, that's your damn preference. Some people want a damn Ford, some want a Chevy. Hell, there's people out there that want to drive a damn Fiat. It's all about preference. So, getting into preference, that's where we're going to start right now with Star Wars Outlaws. People are mad that apparently that there is going to be certain missions involving Jabba the Hutt that are going to be locked behind the gold and ultimate editions of the game. But before we get into like how me and Mickey really feel about this, because like, actually, you know what? Let's just say it now just to piss everybody off. I'm going to buy that shit day one, and I'm just going to enjoy watching people complain about, you know, like, why can't I, like, it's kind of like, you know, a great analogy, Mickey, is why is it I bought the base Mercedes-Benz, but I didn't get the heated seats or the moonroof?
Right.
Because you bought a base.
That's right.
You buy the base game, you get the base package. You buy the gold or ultimate edition, and then like obviously people try to go in, well, that means that they're carving out content to resell it to you. I still don't think that is how it works. I feel like they, you know, get out, because like, dude, when you sit in some of these rooms, they got the big old, you know, pieces of paper on the wall and they're drying it out, and I'm pretty sure it comes up with, what is our base game going to be? Our base game is going to be A, B, C, and D. And then over here on the X chart, we're going to have, additions E and F as the gold. And then we're going to have E, F, A, B, C, E, F, G, H, all the other stuff as part of the ultimate edition. And that's where they start planning out the game, but they establish what is going to be the base package. They don't create this great big monstrous thing and some guy comes in and is like, all right, remove this one, take out that one. Oh, and put this over here. We're going to take all this content and we're going to put it over here. To me, it just sounds like there's a little bit more planning involved than doing that. We'll just say that. But this is where I have to laugh at the situation. Because let's be honest, everybody, where was that energy when PlayStation bought and people are trying to be like, well, it's Star Wars. It's Star Wars. It's a game that Ubisoft, it's a franchise that Ubisoft didn't create. Why do they have to create exclusive missions? Where was that energy when PlayStation got an exclusive mission for Harry Potter? Hogwarts Legacy out of the Harry Potter world. You know, the Harry Potter world is just as big as Star Wars, in my opinion. It's not as long lived, but it's still a pretty big universe with a lot of fanfare. Like, come on now, they've got freaking Hogwarts built over at freaking like Universal Studios. There's a Harry Potter experience, so you can't say that there's not enough fanfare for it. Where was all the people in their feelings over PlayStation getting exclusive missions? What about, Destiny and PlayStation with the exclusive raids and stuff? What about past Ubisoft games with pre-order mission, pre-order to get this exclusive mission, or get this a deluxe edition or ultimate edition or gold edition and get this exclusive. This is not something new. It's not new, and it is what it is. And that's where I have to say, I understand we all work hard for our money. I also understand that, stuff is getting expensive, but at the same time, Ubisoft is not price gouging. I bought the ultimate edition of, I'll go get it right now. It's in a steel case. I actually have it physically, of Assassin's Creed Origins, which was about $110. Then Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out, steelbook version, have it right next to it, $120. Mm-hmm. Then we have the ultimate edition of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, $130. So yes, the games have gotten a little bit more expensive as time goes on, but this wasn't just something that happened Star Wars Outlaws, jack it up to $130. They're gouging now. No, it was $130 for Valhalla, and it's going to be $130 for Outlaws. And that is where I'm going to say right now, I understand money is important. Money makes the world go round. But I'm going to say it right now. If it's important to you to have the whole package for Star Wars, then buy the whole package. If you don't care about the whole package and you just want to buy the base game, don't get mad you're not getting the whole package for starters. Mm-hmm. And then from that standpoint, God, you give me your opinion, man. I just lost
it. Well, I'm buying the Ultimate Edition too. I'm spending the $130 to get the Ultimate Edition because I want the goodies and stuff, and I'm excited because the game looks great. And I don't know what people are pissing and moaning about, but they find something just to piss and moan about.
Yes,
it's the truth. I mean, it drives me nuts because if you don't want to spend the money, just don't spend the money. Like you said, get the base game,
dude. But I think it's funny.
If you want the extras, if you want the Jabba the Hutt stuff, which I think is fair. I mean, I have no issue with it. Spend the extra money, but stop bitching about it. It drives me insane.
Speaking of Hogwarts Legacy, we'll put on some Hogwarts Legacy. How about that? All right. So that's where I think it's funny, how everybody will look down on you. I can't believe you bought the $130 version of the game. You're just contributing to a problem. I like doing this, that, and the other, and all the but it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like a pat on the back or a high five when somebody walks up and it's like, yo, dude, I just bought this expensive bottle of Patron or Johnny Walker Blue Label, and for your Scotch enthusiasts, that's a $200 bottle of Scotch. Apparently, you're a badass if you buy a $200 bottle of liquor just to drink it and piss it out. But you're an a-hole if you buy a $130 game that you can get hours and hours and hours of enjoyment out of it, put it down, come back a couple years later and do it all over again. Or in my town, here in Arizona, weed is legal. And I'm going to say it right now. I hear people bragging all the time, to each other because, it's the environment we live in. By the way, just to put it out there, neither me or Mickey partake in that. It's just that we hear people talk about it. Dude, they have candy bars there that go for $100. They have jars of weed there that go for $100. And literally it's they have tiers. Here, you could have base for this price, you could have mid-tier for this price, or you could have top shelf for this price. And I don't see people getting up in arms on well, why can't I get the high grade price for the low grade? I mean, the high grade stuff for the low grade price. It's more, that's the whole thing of like, I just think it's so funny that it's improper to pay for the whole package of a video game, but it's okay to do some of these things where, you know, literally people like, I mean, like, let people do what they want with their money. And if by some chance you get mad that, you know, something that you want is hidden behind a price tag, I'm going to say it right now. Either share your opinion, but if it matters to you, just buy the damn package, because at this point, capitalism is not going anywhere. So
that's the truth.
I mean, like, dude, just like, yeah, I would love things to be cheaper. I want things to be cheaper, but let's also face it, as things get more expensive, that means I just got to apply myself that much harder to basically to fuel my joy, my enjoyment for playing video games. And that's where I don't go out and hit the clubs up and frivolously spend money. I know what my priorities are. And that's where I spend a majority of my irresponsible spending on video games. And I'm not going to feel I'm not going to feel any less of a human being because I chose to buy a $130 version of a game. And if you're going to get mad at me for it, I will poke fun, because I still remember when somebody got mad at me telling me I'm part of the problem because I buy microtransactions in Elder Scrolls Online. And I'm like, well, I'm going to tell you right now, you join me in Elder Scrolls Online, I'm going to look like a boss, and you're going to be like over here with here's your free armor shit.
See, and here's the thing too, is that it's not anybody else's business. If you pay your bills and you take care of your stuff during the day and then you buy video game stuff, who gives a flying, fuzzball? It's none of their business. People just want to complain to make an issue because they just want to make an issue. Especially something like this.
Oh, dude, like it's like this guy, dude, it's like Ubisoft has full on been targeted. Like first it goes to you're making it you're making the Star Wars show like politically driven on today's situation in the world. Well, like it or not, there's problems in the world, and some, yes, there's certain instances where maybe developers are forced to input these issues, but there is also developers out there that maybe want to bring awareness to some of these issues. We don't really know, but I'm just going to say it right now. If you don't want it, then regretfully, Star Wars is not for you, but I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not going to look down on the fact that, she looks like a chick from an alien planet and she's been through hell and high water and gone through a bunch of trials and tribulations. I don't expect the Star Wars character to look like Kim Kardashian, because I'm going to say it right now, like that would totally ruin my experience, as if she looks more like, like what they're trying to do with Stellar Blade, where the character is essentially crafted eye candy, because apparently Sea of Thieves is selling better than Stellar Blade. So let that sink in on, eye candy and sex appeal can only get you so far. And that's where I feel, Star Wars Outlaws the developers had different priorities than trying to craft the sex appeal of the character. We'll just say that. She's an outlaw that lives in the Star Wars world. She's not going to look like a freaking model. She's going to look rugged, and I don't know why people give a shit about freaking the looks of characters anyways. I'm going to tell you right now, if I was put in a video game, I would be happy. They're like, look, your character is going to have a 6-pack and abs. Oh shit! I wanted him to be. I want you to body shame me. No, I'm playing. I'd be like, oh, that's what I would look like. It's crazy what people complain about. It's so funny. It's so ridiculous. See, I'm gonna say, you know what? So Vanny Lotus, yeah, like, hey guys, let's have this real. We're gonna see the put up or shut up moment when Grand Theft Auto 6 drops, and they're standing out
And it's
there
$200 freaking dollars.
it's like $120 for the base game.
For the base game.
Yeah, for the base game. By the way, that's only to play the story mode. If you'd like to play the story mode plus online, that'd be probably about $150 to $175. If you want some currency with it and some shark cards and maybe a really cool car to help you really take over online and make you feel like you're a freaking walking tank, that edition will be like $200. Dude, mark my words. Rockstar Games is going to set a new standard when it comes to pricing a base game. And it's just going to be funny. Like, you know, how people are going to be sitting there like, oh my God, Ubisoft is price gouging. Dude, Rockstar Games is probably sitting back right now, smoking on a cigar, drinking some scotch, going, you ain't seen nothing yet.
When that comes out, there's going to be, the majority is going to be two types of people. Complainers, again, complaining about the cost, or it's going to be crickets. Because nobody ain't going to say shit.
No, you know what's going to be BS?
Pardon my French.
It's not going to be crickets. There's going to be praise. They're going to be like, if you're going to raise the price on a game, this is the way you do it. And it's like,
well, what I mean by crickets is like, they're not going to be complaining. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, they're going to be over here trying to make excuses because it's Grand Theft Auto 6 and they're going to, you know, get this, that, and the other, and that the quality of the game and the amount of time and effort they've put into it fully justifies the means of doing that. But I mean, it's like rules for thee, but not for me. And by the way, we're going to go plant this goalpost somewhere else. So, speaking of moving the goalpost, let's really talk about, like, let's really get it into it. Because everybody sees the title. My Xbox gives up. Pretty sure this is the subject everybody's wondering, like, how we're going to do this. And this is where we're going to be like, Xbox has given up on the bitchers and the moaners. They do not care about the people that apparently went out and tattooed the Xbox logo or the Gears of War logo on their body, or any of that. I'm not going to say it's not that Xbox is not a brand for you to support. What I'm getting at is Xbox, it's a company. They're here to make money. They're not here to be my best friend. They do a really good job of hanging out online and conversating with people in the community. They do an awesome job of supporting the community and highlighting people, like with the Xbox Ambassadors program, individuals like Cerebral Paul, who is obviously handicapped, and he is part of the Xbox Ambassadors that are handicapped. Xbox does a lot when it comes to community outreach. But at the end of the day, they are also a company that is meant to make money. And this is where, just because you own a console does not make you a stockholder. Just because you own a console does not make you an investor. That makes you a consumer.
Consumer.
An investor is somebody who has given money to the company with the intent of receiving money back. You cannot say that buying a game console and not getting the games you want is not receiving the value you were looking for, and so they have not honored your investment. You are a consumer. When you're an investor, a company has, it's a very fun word, it's called a fiduciary. A company has a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that the people that have given them money for investment get value back for that, and that makes them stockholders, shareholders, and investors. You know, the big ones that everybody seems to get butthurt about are like, they're just trying to appease the investors. They're just trying to make the stockholders happy because they are legally required to. It's called a fiduciary responsibility. They are not legally required to appease the diehards out there that seem to think that Xbox is supposed to be the second coming of Christ in the gaming world.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, We've got Grounded getting ready to launch on PlayStation. Xbox made a strategic move to put 4 games on PlayStation over the next couple of months. We saw it happen with Sea of Thieves. We're about to see it happen with Grounded. And even Pentiment already too. So we now see Pentiment, Grounded, Hi-Fi Rush. I think all 4 of them are now out. But that being said, we saw all these individuals. Xbox has no games. Xbox games are trash. Xbox games suck. The Xbox studios can't hold a flame to what PlayStation can do. But all of a sudden, oh my God, I'm having so much fun playing Sea of Thieves on PlayStation. Thieves,
yeah.
I can't wait to play Grounded on my PlayStation. This game is so much more fun because I can experience it on a PlayStation. That's just childish BS. Play games for the sake of playing games. I don't care if you held out and we're going to be like, no, I'm going to wait for the game to come to PlayStation. But don't say the game is trash because it's on Xbox, but it's great because it's on PlayStation. That just makes you look stupid. The game is trash because it's trash, not because of the platform that it's on. And that being said, we just said it earlier, the sales for Stellar Blade, at least some of the stuff I've read, are lower than the sales for Sea of Thieves. Now people are trying to say that, the reason why Xbox put these games on PlayStation is because the PlayStation users support them, and that all the money is going towards supporting the studios because we're over here renting our games. Hey, you know what's funny about that? Having too much money, saying the words, I have too much money, is that shit no one ever said. We all remember that when G-Eazy said that. And the funny part is about that whole statement is I don't understand why people seem to think that paying full price for Sea of Thieves over on PlayStation is better than paying for it for $15 a month with Xbox Game Pass or Microsoft Game Pass, whatever the hell you want to call it. Apparently, I know, right? Dude,
yeah, but you're not just getting Sea of Thieves on Game Pass. You're getting buttload of freaking games to play. How
about this? If you went out right now and wanted to prove a point, I'm going to buy Pentiment, Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, and Grounded. That's I'll set you back, what, 150, 200 bucks? Fuck, dude, that's practically a whole year of Xbox Game Pass. You'll have all 4 of those games plus everything else that's going to drop this year alone. Yep. Hellblade 2, Indiana Jones, Avowed. But apparently you would rather take all that money and buy 4 games. More power to you, man. Apparently you are doing way better than I am because I love the value I get for Game Pass. And you know what the funny part is? If I love the game enough and it's in Game Pass, I'll buy it anyways. Because why? I can't guarantee that Game Pass is going to be around forever. So therefore, if I love a game enough, I'm going to still buy it even though it's in Game Pass. I own...
And I kind of think, Phil, that's kind of another reason for Game Pass is to play games to see how they are.
Yes.
And then for you to, and then you're like, oh, you know what, I am going to buy. I mean, obviously you don't have to necessarily, and unless they plan on taking it off of Game Pass, but it gives you a taste of what that game is so that you can see if you really want it.
My Hogwarts video is Xbox. I actually, I have very little footage off of my PlayStation. I'll tell you right now, yeah, my platform, I bought Hogwarts Legacy on Xbox. I gave a flying rat's ass about the extra mission over on PlayStation. And you know what the funny part is? I guess it's supposed to come out this year on Xbox. The exclusivity deal that they had for that mission is running out, and I've read that eventually that mission should be coming to Xbox this year. So, I mean, something that's simple would totally make me want to go dude, Hogwarts Legacy was a really fun game, and I will play it again, and having an extra mission would make me do that for the PS5 Pro.
Yes, it will. Phil is very thorough.
Hopefully with the PS5 Pro, they make a much better designed magical trap door to install the NVMe chip in, because I still have to laugh at, when everybody got mad with the design of the Xbox expansion cards, apparently going to the store and pulling the card out of the case and plugging it into your controller, into the back of your console, was outrageous. But tearing the sides off of your $500 console and essentially, opening it up to the board to put the expansion chip onto the board. Don't get me wrong, for somebody like me, that I could probably do it with my eyes closed. If I handed my game console to my wife or one of my friends or to some of the people I work with, I'm pretty sure they would be like lost on how to even get the side panel off on the PlayStation.
They'd barely be able to put the disc in.
Huh. See, now that's where 8K TVs, if you really do have one, like, dude, more power to you. You see, that's what I mean. You bought something because that is what you were looking for. And I'm like, dude, I do not, I'm not going to be one of those ones that's like, oh my God, there's not even 8K market on 8K content on the market. You just wasted all your money. Dude, rock on, man. You bought an 8K television. I bet shit looks glorious on that thing.
Yeah, get what you want.
Dude, backlogs were made hardcore. Like, backlogs were bad, and then Xbox came out with a drug called Game Pass, and that's when everybody's backlog was just effed.
Ours is effed.
Dude. Oh my God. Like, sometimes when dude, your backlog
yours is more effed than mine. Dude, I've got a lot on the back.
People's backlogs are like a monster sitting in the corner of the room, just like breathing deeply at you, just staring at you. Like, I know you're there. I'll get to you eventually. Calm down. But yeah, getting back to Xbox. At this point, Xbox has shown that there is a lot of interest. Like, dude, they were testing the waters. There was a lot of interest in Xbox games, and it proved it. It's just like, Xbox, I think, was just trying to figure out, well, is there some holdouts that don't want to buy our games just because it's an Xbox? Me, I'd be like, that's entirely pathetic. But hey, you know what the funny part is? I like to play I don't like the restrictions of exclusivity, so I buy everything. And that's not to brag. That just goes down to, if I want to play it, I'll play it. And that's where
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's why with Hogwarts Legacy, I could care. I was like, really? An exclusive mission? Yeah, I'm good. Now, yeah, if Hogwarts Legacy was exclusive to the PlayStation 5, I would have bought it on the PlayStation 5. Dude, I've got the PlayStation 5 version of Deathloop in here, and I've got the PlayStation 5 version of Godfall. I own both of them physically. Hell, I even got Stray for the PS5. So that's why I'm just saying, like, I wanted to check these games out and I bought them. To me, it's like I buy games where I want to buy them. And when it came to Hogwarts Legacy, I just knew that I was going to be spending more time on my Xbox, and I chose the platform I spent a lot more time on.
So, Phil, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. Mm-hmm. As far as my opinion goes, if Xbox opened up their library to a PlayStation or to Sony, I wouldn't care.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if I see a game I want, I'm just going to buy it.
Well,
if the PlayStation players have it, that's great. I mean, again, it's about gaming.
So, and that's where it comes to, it's about gaming, but everybody tries to play the role of, well, Xbox is going to give up. They're just going to let PlayStation and Nintendo take over. I don't think that they're going to exactly let them take over. I feel like, sometimes, everybody, like, I'm tired of the chess versus checkers analogy. Well, there's also that the tortoise and the hare analogy. And I'm going to say it right now. things happen slowly, and maybe Xbox is just better at predicting the future than PlayStation. Xbox did it with games as a service. Xbox did it with Xbox Live, and Xbox is doing it with a subscription service. And now they're going to do it again by showing that games can have a lot more longevity by embracing your competition a little bit. Today at my own professional job, I had to reach out to my competition to get a hold of parts for something that I need to be able to fix. And I'm not doing it in the name of making money. I'm doing it in the name of providing customer service to the customer who has asked me to fix their product. And I need to reach out to my competition to get the parts to fix said product. And you know what the funny part is? I didn't talk to the owner of this company. I talked to an employee of his, and I'm an employee of the competing company. And me and him got absolutely great. We did not discuss about how we're going to go out in the middle of the road and beat each other's ass. We were just like,
Right.
we were like, he's just like, cool, I'm going to make a little bit of money selling you the parts, and you're going to make a little bit of money using them to fix your customer's product. And we're all going to move on with our lives. And we're going to continue to, not at any time did I sit there and be like, man, I'm going to put this place out of business by helping my competition.
Yeah.
Dude, that's where it comes down to. Xbox is maybe they're seeing a bigger picture that like a lot of people are in denial about, but we've even seen PlayStation talking about potentially embracing other platforms. And that being said, let's talk about the Xbox marketplace. They make a lot of money selling movies, selling games, selling DLC and expansions. There's a lot of money to be made on the Xbox marketplace, and Microsoft is not just going to be like, man, shut it down. We don't need it anymore. We got too much money. We make too much money. Shut it down. Microsoft is in a way better financial position to keep something like the Xbox marketplace going than Sony. Like Xbox exists because Microsoft wants it there. PlayStation exists because Sony needs it there.
Needs it. Right.
Like
right.
Two total different perspectives.
Yep.
And hey, thank you, Lotus, for checking it out. Holy cow, 7:30 a.m. Man, you got to be like in Australia or something.
Holy smokes! No kidding.
All right. So, well, thank you for listening before you go to work.
Yes, thank you. Hopefully, we're providing some amusement for you.
I know, but but definitely it like. Xbox, I feel, has really found a way to obviously generate more revenue because all those game sales are bringing 30% for Xbox on those. Like, if I'm right, Xbox gets like 30%.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be also insulting to the brand that they're on, PlayStation, that these games are selling better than some of the exclusives that they've spent a lot of money to procure. And also, it's games as a service where, let's just face it, the only games as a service game that PlayStation has going for it right now exclusively is Helldivers. And that game, it's popular, but the majority of its popularity is on Steam. So that's where it's really it would feel almost insulting. Like, damn, I let our competition put their product on my console and apparently, you had to come to me. But now it's looking like the joke is on me because these dudes, like, their game is selling better than games I've already got. Like, it's funny. Majority of Game Pass subs are on Game Pass. They lose billions by abandoning. Yeah, dude, if they abandon the Xbox brand, that would be like, that scene where you see the Joker, like, with that pile of money just torching it down. Like, I think that's what people see Xbox
That's a good way
as.
to put it too.
Yeah, they just see him as like Heath Ledger's the Joker, getting all that money and just setting it on fire just for the hell of it. Like, oh, we don't need it. But no, dude, and also it's like, so Xbox at this point didn't see PlayStation as competition. They saw them as an extra 30%. Like, oh damn, yeah, we're gonna make a little bit of extra money off of PlayStation. Yeah, they're worth about 30%, and I'm gonna be really interested. Like, could they put Gears of War on there? Could they put Halo? That would definitely be a major culture shock for the Xbox brand for sure. But when it comes to other titles, like especially service titles like Sea of Thieves and what's Grounded? Dude, because I think after we're done screwing around with Fallout for the next few months, I think we should really check out Grounded now, because they got I guess it's called like the fully gourded edition.
Yeah, I'd be good with that because I liked it. The little bit I played, I liked it.
Dude, and I think, and the cool part is, I think the fully gourded edition is part of Game Pass Ultimate. So it's like,
nice. I'll be able to get it. So
right, and that's where I'm like, let's look at the perspective here. Xbox, we're getting, at least in 2022 alone. Wow, holy cow! I just dropped 2 years.
A couple of years off there, Philly, but that's all right.
No, it's 2024. Sorry to break it to you. Where have you been? So in 2024 alone, we have gotten the Persona games come in, and we've gotten the fully loaded Persona games come in, where other people on other brands have had to buy the content that is essentially being given away as part of the package of Game Pass. Final Fantasy 14 Game Pass subscribers got a starter package that is essentially on other platforms being sold. I know that deal is getting ready to stop, where it's no longer going to be part of the perks where you get that package for free. You get you're going to get the next gen enhancements for Fallout on your console free of charge. You don't even got to be a Game Pass member for it. But dude, yep. Fallout 4, Fallout 76, part of Game Pass. We're also going to get the Grounded fully gourded edition as part of Game Pass Ultimate from the way it looks. It just feels like, I just feel like Xbox has definitely staked its claim as the more pro-consumer ecosystem. And that's where, as you know, as much as we're multi-platform, as much as we play everything, you do have that one ecosystem that you put a lot more time into. And that's where I put more of my time into the ecosystem that I feel is the better value. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, if you, I think the PlayStation, like because there's always competition and many things, you know, sports and whatever, but when it comes to gaming, it's almost ignorant competition. Like people complaining about Game Pass, it's like, you know, and it's this, you know, Sony people complaining about Game Pass. It's like, if Sony had a Game Pass,
well, I
can almost guarantee you wouldn't be complaining about it.
Well, they've got PlayStation Plus, but the funny part is, PlayStation Plus actually keeps like removing features and removing games, and they've raised the price. But Xbox has raised the price one time, and I think it was like $2, and they essentially $2-3, and it's like they have put in more content, because now you're starting to get like the ultimate edition of certain games. You also have the ultimate perks. It's like Xbox keeps creating value, and when they have had a price raise, it hasn't been something obscene. But on the other side of PlayStation, the price raise did not justify the fact that we're going to raise the price, and oh, by the way, we're removing these games and features.
Yeah. I've heard of the PlayStation Plus, but I kind of figured it was not quite on the level of Game Pass.
It's not on the level of Game Pass. What would really put PlayStation Plus on the level of Game Pass would be if they were to start putting first party studio games in there day and date. We're talking like the day they launch, we're talking like God of War, maybe even Final Fantasy games, stuff like that. But that's where, Jim Ryan came out and was like, oh, well, our games are really special and it just wouldn't justify doing that. Oh, you mean like creating more like you need your customers to pay more because they're worth more to you as a walking ATM than the fact that like I still think it's insane that, we're talking about PlayStation, the company that sells game consoles a lot easier than Xbox does, but for some reason Xbox is able to provide a better value. Is that because Xbox is owned by Microsoft and Microsoft can afford it? Or is it because Xbox doesn't see themselves as high and mighty as PlayStation, and that just maybe it is possible to actually deliver value to gamers without treating them as walking ATMs?
Right. I was going to say Xbox, provides a substantial amount of positives for the gamers, for them to enjoy it, and it's crazy because I mean they make good decisions. Not every decision is perfect, but they make a lot of really good decisions that I'm happy with it. All the games they put on Game Pass, plus with the purchase of Activision Blizzard, they're putting those games on Game Pass, and so I'm happy. I have no issues with my gaming career.
I don't sit up at night staring at my Xbox like, how am I going to sleep tonight?
Right.
I feel like I've got no value. But no, man, that's why I just say it's like, it's interesting. Like, to me, that's where I'm like, you know what? Xbox is tossing in the towel. They're giving up. They are giving up on trying
to raise the white flag.
They are giving up on the console warriors. It's like, all right, we're done. And dude, honestly, I feel like 2024 was like the year of exposure. We got to see a lot of people's true colors because, to be absolutely honest, they want Xbox to come in here. All Bethesda games need to be exclusive. I remember when Activision, like when the Xbox came out and was like, hey, we're buying Activision. Oh, that's right. Console war over. We're making Call of Duty exclusive. I remember as soon as I heard someone say that on a podcast, I was like, they're not making that exclusive. That sounds stupid. Why wouldn't they make it exclusive? Because that would be, putting the middle finger up to a large amount of money.
The company's still going to make money off of PlayStation gamers, so
it doesn't make financial sense.
Yeah.
And then I remember when I was like, hey guys, by the way, the FTC is going to have a lot to say about Xbox. Microsoft buying Activision. And then not only did the FTC have a lot to say, but they also got the CMA involved. And there was a lot of, shall we say,
hurdles.
Dude, there was a lot of tea that was being shared during that time. There was a lot of exposure for the internal, like how things worked. Things got leaked. That gave rise to, like it's okay to leak Xbox stuff, but it's you're violating some sacred holy rule of leaking games if by some chance you show anything PlayStation related. And to me, it's like, no, Xbox is not going to come in and just make swathing moves to just destroy competition and put Sony into some hypothetical freaking competitive competition coffin, because that would definitely get the attention of a lot of world regulators. Xbox does, like, when you're in the world of, $1 trillion companies, $1 billion companies, your moves are scrutinized. And when you make anti-competitive moves to essentially undermine and destroy your competition, to somehow make you like the only player, that essentially creates a monopoly, which creates even worse problems for you. So it's actually it's in your best interest to obviously keep your competition alive, because as long as you have competition, it makes it easier for you to buy studios, to make deals, to do things that we all love to see take place. But without the competition there, they're going to be even more scrutinized and regulated by the powers that be, that we all feel are extreme. Like, just as much as we feel that government regulations intrudes in our lives, I guarantee you Microsoft and Sony feel the absolute same about government regulations. But that's where it's just, that a lot of people can't see the bigger picture in the fact that competition is needed for it to be a healthy industry. Xbox at least talks about that and recognizes it. And that's why I'm saying that Xbox is going to be giving up on the warriors that seem to think that Xbox needs to just come in with some sword and shield and just swathingly cut down anybody in their way. Anything you want to add on? Or have I put you to sleep already?
No, I think you hit it on the head. You hit it on the head, brother.
What are you playing?
Nothing. I'm sitting here watching. I've got Fallout 76 on my screen, but I'm not playing it. So
I feel like you're sitting there like with your dog in your lap, like, just like, that's right, little guy. That's right.
No, Chris took the dogs out for the podcast. So
you hear Mickey like, come, Mr. Bigglesworth. Running around the house like Dr. Evil with your dog. But all right, that's our 2 hours. I guess we'll just cap this off by saying thank you to everybody that tuned in live. Always grateful for those that tune in on the replay.
Absolutely, thank you guys.
So please join us here every Wednesday night. It's 9 p.m. our time. It essentially is 12 a.m. Eastern. Yes, this is a late show, but that's because we are rebels and we go on Arizona time. And also we are working individuals like yourselves, and like literally he gets home at like 8:00, grabs his dinner and sits down and puts on the headset. And that's why I'm grateful for him to be here every Wednesday night. Mm-hmm. That being said, if you do enjoy the show, guys, please be sure to like, subscribe, tell your friends about us. We're not all that bad. And as always, if you guys ever want to do personally chat with us and you don't want to get mouthy with us, always come chat with us on Xbox Live. I only warn you about getting mouthy because, like, dude, you start talking trash, Mickey here will probably like, dude, he'll speak with you with the thunder. But thank you again, everybody tuning in. Till we see you guys next week. As we always say, just play what you want, and play whatever you want, wherever you want, and buy whatever version of the damn game appeals to you most.
Have fun, enjoy gaming, because that's what it's all about, and be safe during the.
But all right, everybody, thank you, and till next time, we will see you next week.
Have a good night, guys.